Imagine walking down a bustling street, surrounded by towering marble columns, chariots thundering past, and vendors shouting the day's specials in Latin. You might think you're in the heart of some fantasy epic, but this was everyday life in the greatest city of the ancient world, Rome. For centuries, this city was the beating heart of an empire that stretched from the windswept moors of Britain to the golden sands of Egypt. But beneath the familiar tales of gladiators, emperors, and epic wars, Rome hid secrets, innovations and decisions that changed the world forever. Today, we're unlocking those untold secrets, right here, at the very core of the empire itself, the Roman Forum. Let's start with a place that's more than just ancient ruins. The Roman Forum was the pulsating center of Roman life for over 1,000 years. To truly understand its impact, imagine the Forum not as a static collection of stones, but as a living, breathing social network, long before Twitter, long before the internet, even before the printing press. The Forum was where laws were made, justice was served, and the fate of nations was debated. But what most people don't realize is that it was also the birthplace of a revolutionary concept, public space for civic life. Before Rome, politics and religion were often tucked away in temples or palaces, reserved for the elite. Rome changed that. In the Forum, plebeians and patricians alike rubbed shoulders, argued, and made their voices heard. This mingling of classes was radical. It helped lay the groundwork for ideas of public participation and citizenship that still echo in modern democracies. Let me paint the scene. Vendors selling olives and garum sauce, politicians delivering fiery speeches from the rostra, philosophers debating under the porticos, and everyday Romans exchanging gossip at the public fountains. All around, monumental buildings rose, each with a story to tell. Take the Curia Julia, for example. This was the Senate house, where the most powerful men in Rome gathered to decide the fate of the empire. But the Curia wasn't just about power plays and political backstabbing. It was the site of one of history's most important experiments, the development of a written, republic-based legal code. The Romans believed that laws should be written down and accessible to all citizens. This idea was so revolutionary that it influenced legal systems from Europe to the Americas, and still shapes our laws today. And then there's the Basilica Aemilia, a massive hall where business deals were struck and legal disputes settled. The basilica was more than a court or marketplace. It was the ancestor of every city hall and courthouse on earth. When you step into your local town hall or jury box, you're following in the footsteps of Romans who debated, negotiated, and sought justice right in the Forum. But the Forum was more than a symbol of civic life. It was a marvel of engineering, a laboratory of innovation. The Romans were obsessed with making life in the city easier, cleaner, and more impressive. One of their most enduring secrets was hidden beneath the very stones of the Forum, the Cloaca Maxima. This massive sewer system, built in the 6th century BCE, was one of the world's earliest and most advanced sanitation systems. Think about it. While most ancient cities struggled with waste and disease, Rome was busy channeling its wastewater out of the city, keeping its streets relatively clean and its people healthier than many of their contemporaries. The Cloaca Maxima was so well built that parts of it are still in use today. This commitment to public health was a silent revolution. It let the city grow to unprecedented size, supporting a population of over 1 million people, the largest city the world would see until London in the 19th century. And sanitation was just the beginning. The Forum was the hub of Rome's extraordinary water network. Aqueducts like the Aqua Appia and Aqua Virgo brought fresh water from miles away, feeding fountains, baths, and homes. These aqueducts weren't just pipes, they were triumphs of surveying and engineering. The Romans perfected the arch, enabling them to span valleys and cross rivers, delivering water with a gentle, reliable slope. This technology inspired later civilizations and is the ancestor of every modern water system. But the Forum's influence wasn't just physical, it was cultural. The Romans were the masters of blending old traditions with new ideas. As the empire expanded, they brought in gods, customs, and foods from across the Mediterranean. The Forum became a melting pot, a place where Egyptian obelisks stood beside Greek columns, and traders from all over the known world hawked their wares. Take the Temple of Saturn, for example. This imposing structure was the financial heart of Rome. The public treasury was kept in its vaults. But Saturn was originally a harvest god, celebrated during the wild festival of Saturnalia, a time when social rules were upended and slaves dined with their masters. The blending of sacred and secular, of old and new, was what made Rome so resilient. It's a lesson that resonates today. Successful societies are those that adapt, absorb, and innovate. And speaking of innovation, let's talk about something you might not expect, the Roman calendar. The Forum wasn't just a place for politics and business, it was the place where time itself was organized. The original Roman calendar was a confusing mess of lunar months and political tinkering, so Julius Caesar, advised by the mathematician Sosigenes, reformed it in 46 BCE. The result was the Julian calendar, which introduced the leap year and set the pattern for our modern calendar. When you flip your calendar page each month, you're using a system born right here in ancient Rome. But perhaps the greatest untold secret of the Roman Forum was its role as a stage for public speech and dissent. In an age when most rulers were unchallengeable, Rome had a tradition of open debate. Anyone could stand on the rostra and address the crowd. Sure, orators like Cicero and Julius Caesar had special star power, but even the humblest Roman citizen could make their voice heard. This culture of rhetoric and persuasion laid the foundations for public discourse, free speech, and the power of a well-crafted argument. It's no exaggeration to say that the roots of every modern parliament and every viral social media post can be traced back to the passionate speeches delivered in the Forum. Now, let's not forget the darker secrets of the Forum. The same stones that witnessed the birth of democracy and law also saw political violence, corruption, and betrayal. The murder of Julius Caesar, though technically in the nearby theater of Pompey, was plotted right here, among the marble columns. The Forum teaches us that power is always contested, and that the struggle for justice is never over. It's a story as old as Rome and as current as today's headlines. But the Forum's legacy doesn't end with the fall of Rome. After the empire collapsed, the Forum was abandoned, buried under centuries of debris. Medieval Romans called it the Campo Vicino, the cow field. Yet, its memory survived. Renaissance thinkers like Petrarch and Michelangelo came here, drawn by the ruins and inspired by the achievements of ancient Rome. They saw the Forum not just as a relic, but as a symbol of human potential. The rediscovery of the Forum helped spark the Renaissance, a rebirth of art, science, and civic life that would shape the modern world. So, what can we learn from the untold secrets of the Roman Forum? First, that the power of public space is transformative. When people gather to debate, negotiate, and dream together, they can change the world. Second, that the foundations of our cities, our laws, and even our calendars are built on Roman innovations. And third, that history is never just about stones and ruins. It's about the ideas, dreams, and struggles of ordinary people, echoing across the centuries. Next time you walk through a city square, cast a vote, or simply turn on a tap for clean water, remember, you're living in the shadow of the Roman Forum. Its secrets shaped the world you know, often in ways we barely notice, but could never live without. If you enjoyed unraveling the mysteries of ancient Rome with me, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history's hidden corners, and tell me in the comments, which ancient innovation surprises you the most? Until next time, keep exploring the past, it just might change your future.